tell you, God is black.
God is black? Everybody knows God is white.
Everything the white man taught you, you accepted. He taught you you were a black heathen, and you believed him. He taught you to worship a blonde, blue-eyed Jesus with white skin, and you believed him. He taught you that black was a curse, and you believed that. Did you ever look up the word black in a dictionary?
For what?
Did you ever study anything that wasn't part of some con?
What the hell for, man?
Come with me. Black, destitute of light, devoid of color, enveloped in darkness, hence utterly dismal or gloomy, as the future looked black.
Pretty good with them words, ain't you?
Soiled with dirt, foul, sullen, hostile, forbidding, as a black day. Foully or outrageously wicked, as black cruelty, indicating disgrace, dishonor, or culpability. And there's others. Black male, black ball, black guard.
Yeah, man, that's something all right.
Let's look up white. Here. Read.
White. Of the color of pure snow, reflecting all the rays of the spectrum, the opposite of black. Free from spot or blemish, innocent, pure. Huh. Ain't this something? Without evil intent, harmless, honest, square dealing, and honorable. Wait a minute, but this was written by white folks, though, right? I mean, this is white folks' book.
It sure ain't no black man's book.
So what we reading this one for?
Because the truth is lying there, if you read behind the words.
You told Harpo to beat me. It was that mule, Paul. Old Joy, old Joy the mule, I tell you, I was out there trying to plow that north field, and the mule just went crazy. He started kicking and bucking, hit me right there, bust my eye, bust my lip. All my life I had to fight. I had to fight my daddy, I had to fight my uncles, I had to fight my brothers. Girl, child ain't safe in a family man's. But I ain't never thought I had to fight in my own house. I loves Harpo. God knows I do. But I kill him dead before I let him beat me. And that's a hoof print. Does it look like a hoof print, that, Paul?
No, that looked like a fist print.
Right? No, sir. No, sir. Ain't no fist touch my face. Yeah. No, sir. Now, you want a dead son-in-law, Miss Seeley? You keep on advising him like you doing.
This life be over soon. Heaven lasts always.
Girl, you ought to bash Mr. head open and think about heaven later.
Oh, look at that. That's the cutest blue face I ever saw. Can you give me some sugar? You so sweet. Hey, you a fine thing.
Miss Millie always going on over the cup.
You children are so clean. Would you like to work for me? Be my maid?
Hell no.
What did you say?
Hell no.
What did she say?
Hey, can't you pump that crude a little faster?
Gal, what did you say to Miss Millie?
I said hell.
Oh, Miss Sophia.
No! Miss Sophia, no! Get my children out of here! Take them home! Get my children home! Get my children out of here!
You black slut! Who do you think you are?
Leave me alone! Touch me! Everyone!
make you all, you fat nigga! God! Thank God! Help me!
I grew up with an understanding that there was this God, all-knowing, all-powerful, who loved me. And the wonder of that, the magical mystery of that, is what carried me when I was separated from my grandmother and sent to live with my mother at 6 years old. I suddenly land in a place that's completely foreign to me. I don't know anybody. I don't really even know my mother. I just know when people say, "That's your mother." I walked into that space feeling completely alone and abandoned with no explanation of why I was being sent away. I remember the first night entering into that house and being told that I wouldn't be able to sleep with my mother and I wouldn't be able to sleep inside the house, but there was a little foyer porch before you actually got inside the house. And I was put outside to sleep there. I later realized it's because it was the color of my skin. My mother was boarding with this very light-skinned Black woman who could pass for white. And I could tell instantly when I walked in the room that she didn't like me, and it was because of the color of my skin. I don't know how I knew that, but I did. And I remember praying on my knees the very first night I had been removed from my grandmother. And I don't remember ever shedding a tear about it because I knew that God was my father, Jesus was my brother, and they were with me.
Wanted to ask you, how do you overcome the fears and doubts?
I mean, look, the fears and doubts are a part of it. Can I be honest with you? Everything I've ever done started with a fear. My walking out on stage, that starts with the fear. When Oprah came and got me for this life class, I said, boy, this is like a stand-up appearance for me. I'm back there sweating. I don't want to talk to nobody. I have to overcome fear all the time. When I wrote my book, I was afraid. When they told me we wanted you to be a game show host, I'd never done that. I was afraid. When they said, we want you to do a talk show, I was afraid. I have to overcome fear all the time. But the best way for me to overcome fear is the dream has to be bigger than the fear. That's the only way you turn around and run at it. I just want something so great. I aim for stuff so big that the dream is bigger than the fear. Look at it like this, man. If you don't ever go for this, would it be better for you to face the fear or just deal with the fact that you just never gave it a shot?
Oh, face it, definitely.
See, that's what the dream. And I saw you with your tie on. I know that makeup mirror. That's backstage somewhere in a dressing room. Somebody's hiring guys like you. There's no such thing as too old. I'm 57. If I went back out there, I'd get hired tomorrow as a stand-up. If you're funny, there's a marketplace for you. Now, look, you got to
start where you are, right?
Just
start where you are.
You don't worry, man. Where you at? Now, don't stop paying the house note and stuff.
Okay, so let's go through it. You have to know your gift. Do you think you're gifted at this?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Okay. And then you have to be clear about your vision.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then surround yourself with other dreamers. Let's talk about that.
You know, if you don't surround yourself with other dreamers, here's what I know. If 9 of your friends are broke, you're going to be the 10th one. That's it. If 7 of your friends smoke, you're going to be number 8. If you stay with that circle of friends, you've got to surround yourself with like-minded people. See, stop telling your big dreams to small-minded people. Take yourself, look, you're talking to me. You're 52, I'm 57. I'm a stand-up comedian, been one for 30 years. It's a natural thing for me. I would talk to people who are in the business, talk to people who are doing it. Don't let your age define you. Jack Benny, Jonathan Winters, Red Skelton.
George Burns.
George Burns.
At 90, I took up country music. I figured, why not? I'm older than most countries.
That was pretty good right there. See, my mouth, I've never been able to do impressions. You know, I can't do that. So I see a guy like you, the golf tournaments, the corporate gigs that's available, clean corporate gigs like that. But surround yourself with people who are like-minded so you can quit getting the negative stuff that's been stopping you anyway.
In this world, there are a lot of things that are beyond our control. But what you do have control over is how you react to whatever happens in your life. What I now know is that we all become exactly what you believe. So if you believe that you can do all things because you have been endowed by a power from on high, given to you by the grace of God, if you believe that, you walk into the world understanding that whatever problems you may encounter, you still have God to lean on. As I grew, my perception and understanding of what God means grew with me. I expanded my view of what it means to be a citizen of the universe, to be a part of the energy field that is omnipotent, omniscient, all-knowing, and all-present in all things. And so my confidence comes from knowing that there is something greater than myself that I am a part of and is also a part of me. I call that God, but I do nothing without that understanding. How I think one masters one's life is to understand that you are co-creating that life with the ultimate creator. Not understanding that puts you at your own pitiful, meager little will. And everything is left up to you. And you can't do it. You cannot survive in this world by yourself, just believing in yourself. You're not big enough to do it. I'm not big enough to do it. Nobody's big enough to do it. You have to understand that your very presence here as a human being on earth came from something greater than you. And not just your parents who wanted to have a child. The fact that that egg was hit by that particular little sperm in that particular moment, and you were created. Wow. How amazing is that? Of all the different choices that had to happen in order for you to be here now. What a celebration that is. So when you recognize the mystery of that creation, all the circumstances that had to configure and reconfigure themselves, all the questions that we don't have answers to, you have to know this: the fact that I'm here matters. And the fact that you're there matters. This is no accident. None of us are. When you do well, people notice. When you do your best, people notice. And so wherever you are, always do your best, and doing your best puts you at the next level. Nothing about my life is lucky. Nothing. A lot of grace, a lot of blessings, a lot of divine order, but I don't believe in luck. For me, luck is preparation meeting the moment of opportunity. There is no luck without you being prepared to handle that moment of opportunity. And so what I would say for myself is that because of my hand and a force greater than my own, I have been prepared in ways that I didn't even know I was being prepared for. And the truth is, for me and for every person, every single thing that has ever happened in your life is preparing you for the moment that is to come. A lot of people don't know their purpose. And if you don't know your purpose, your immediate goal is to figure that out, because otherwise you're just wandering around here. So the moment you can figure out what it is you're supposed to be doing, the sooner you are able to get about the business of doing that. The universe speaks to us always, first, in whispers. And a whisper usually in your life feels like, that's odd. Or, that doesn't make any sense. Or, is that right? It just really feels like that. It's that kind of subtle. And if you don't pay attention to the whisper, it gets louder and louder and louder. And I say, it's like getting thumped upside the head. You don't pay attention to that. It's like getting a brick upside your head. You don't pay attention to that. The brick wall falls down. Life is about growth and change. When you are no longer doing that, that is your whisper. That is your whisper that I am supposed to do something else. I am interested in seeing what the rest of the world has to offer me. Anybody pretending to be anything other than who you really are, you will never, ever reach your personal potential. You cannot do it. I have known for a very long time that I am a blessed person, and that to whom much is given, much is also required. That you can't have all of this and not use it for something that is for the greater good. Your intention rules your life and determines the outcome. Every time it would happen, I would say to my team, well, it doesn't matter, because every season somebody else was coming out. One talk show, two talk shows, three talk shows. There have been over 100 talk shows since we started. But every time, I would feel like, all right, got to step up our game, got to step up our game. The way you step up your game is not to worry about the other guy in any situation, because you can't control the other guy. You cannot control the other guy. You only have control over yourself. So it's like running a race. The energy that it takes to look back and see where the other guys are takes energy away from you. And if they're too close, it scares you. So that's what I would say to my team all the time. Don't waste your time in the race looking back to see where the other guy is or what the other guy is doing. It's not about the other guy. It's about what can you do. You just need to run that race as hard as you can. You need to give it everything you've got all the time for yourself. For yourself. What I know is you got to take responsibility for the space you hold here. And understand that the third law of motion, which says for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, that is my religion. That is the fundamental construct of my religion. And by that, I mean, I know that every thought that I think, every thought that I have that moves into action is going to create an opposite and equal reaction. So everything that I put out into the world is going to come back. It's the golden rule on steroids. The golden rule on steroids. It's true that as you do unto others, they will do unto you. It's already done. There's an energy field, there's an energy flow that I strongly feel in my own life. And I know lots of other people who do. You're either in flow or out of it. And if you're in flow, it's like this. It's like this. All the time. It's like this. It's like flowing with the stream. And the flow is in direct proportion to the center of yourself, where God abides, where universal energy abides, where the divine within you abides. How far you are from the center, from the divineness of yourself, from your connection to source energy, that which created you, is how out of sync you are with your life, regardless of what you call it. When you can align with that, nobody can touch you. Gary Zukov calls that authentic power. in his book, Seed of the Soul, he says, when your personality comes to serve the energy of your soul, that is authentic power. And that's the only real power there is, because you're going to lose everything else. I don't care how beautiful you are. One day, your breasts are going to sag and your eyes are going to bag and you're not going to be as beautiful. And it doesn't matter how much Botox and how many times you get yourself pulled up and how many hairdos and how many makeovers or what you do, you know, that doesn't last. It's just like the most beautiful flowering tree. Everything passes and it's time. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how much power you have, how high you sit on the Forbes list, how many times you make the most influential lists. All of that changes. All of that changes. But what is real, what is lasting, is who you are and what you were meant to bring.
You work for Mr. Dunn down at the rest home, ain't that right?
Yes, sir.
Wonder what old Dunn will say when I tell him one of his gals down here stirring a fuss.
I ain't stirring no fuss. I'm just here trying to register the vote.
Recite the Constitution's preamble. You know what a preamble is?
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union.
How many county judges in Alabama?
67.
Name them.
What's going on, Chicago? I want y'all to focus on what you don't see in the news and pay attention. That's why I'm so glad social media is a great platform for blacks to get news, because the news will only feed you what they want to feed you. They won't let you know particular things that's going on that's important that may affect us. Now, pay attention. Seaway National Bank is now closed. It was one of the only black-owned banks here in Chicago. So on 87th, on the south side of Chicago, and about 2-3 years ago, after all the police shootings out here in Chicago, blacks got fed up and said, hey, I'm going to take my dollar to a black-owned bank. And so blacks was rushing to take out their money from white-owned banks and take it to black-owned banks. However, we have to move in silence. We cannot let them know what we're doing, because as soon as blacks did that, you know what they did? Went straight after them. Take a look at this clip.
Local and federal officials now in control of Seaway Bank and Trust Company. There are 9 locations in Illinois, 1 in Wisconsin. So what does this mean if you're a customer? Eyewitness News reporter Liz Nagy is live with the answer.
Alan, for customers of Seaway Bank, things won't look or feel much different. They can still access their money through the ATM. Checks and loans are also all still good. Employees of Chicago's largest African-American-owned bank tried for months to find investors to make up for losses. But today, Seaway Bank ran out of time. Seaway Bank employees left the Southside's flagship branch for the last time tonight.
At 5 o'clock this evening, the bank was closed. The employees were gathered and informed that the bank was going to be closed.
But the doors will reopen tomorrow morning, just as they have for decades.
The State Bank of Texas is taking over all the deposits and most of the assets. So for the customers, it'll be business as usual starting tomorrow morning.
Seaway was, until now, the largest African-American-owned bank in the Midwest. It was one of the few left in Chicago. The street its original branch sits on is named after the bank's founder.
This bank has an amazing history. It has an amazing role in the community, and we are very respectful. We are very mindful of the place and the historic nature that Seaway has.
Now Seaway Bank will go the way of so many failed banks since 2008, short tens of millions of dollars, but deposits and loans saved by a larger out-of-state institution.
All branches are going to be open, and we intend for all the employees to keep their jobs for now.
Now, Seaway has about 200 employees. As many of them walked out of work this evening, they appear to be in good spirits. Many of them will be back tomorrow morning. Right now, FDIC and State Bank of Texas employees are going through the process of filling out paperwork here in the bank behind me, turning over all of the assets of Seaway to the State Bank of Texas. Reporting live in Chatham tonight, Liz Nagy, ABC 7 Eyes.
Soon as blacks took to Facebook, took to Twitter, took to social media saying, hey, we're going to take our money out and give it to a black-owned bank, the feds went directly at them. Now, I was following this last year when the feds got on them. It didn't make the news, of course, because they move in silence. They have power. They don't let you know exactly what they're going to do when they're going to do it. That's what I want to tell you guys is you have to move in silence. Never let them know what you're going to do. Because as soon as you let them know what you're going to do, they'll counter it. They'll just go after that bank. They said, black people smarten up because they realize it. Now, if you're getting out there to protest, please give us jobs, they'll give you the red carpet. They'll even help you protest because they know there's nothing is going to come out of it. And they even put you on the news. But once they know you're a threat to them, as in a financial threat, that's because money equals power. They realized it. Blacks have not realized it yet. Once blacks start spending their money with black businesses, that's when they're going to flip out.